Howdy guys, I'm Jason, and today on AutoEdits I have a bit of a unique vehicle feature and potential project introduction to the channel. And at the end of this video, I hope to inspire at least somebody to get out and wrench on a vehicle. Get out and do something mechanical, maybe outside of your comfort zone, because this little vehicle right here has taught me so much in the limited amount of time that I've owned it. So hop on board, let me tell you a little bit about how I got it and the journey so far. So this used to be my cousin's car. She was the original owner in 2009, had the absolutely exquisite taste to buy a two-door coupe. So that means that she has owned this car for 16 years as her primary driver, has put 113,000 miles on it, and has done a great job of the maintenance. I just trust her dealer where she bought it to do all the maintenance on the thing, and they've done a decent job. And what happens to this level of car over the years is the repairs start sneaking up in cost and frequency. And that's exactly what happened. She just recently needed a new steering rack and pinion unit and several $1,000s worth of repairs on this thing. And then all of a sudden it started doing a misfire and getting the mysterious multi-cylinder misfire. And that's when the dealer warned that things could get expensive yet again. They recommended replacing spark plugs and coil packs first, but mentioned the problem might be fuel injectors and that it probably needed an intake valve carbon cleaning, which jumps repair costs back into the thousands of dollars again. I helped out by swapping the plugs and coils, and unfortunately that didn't solve the misfire. At this point, my cousin decided she needed a more reliable car and not a project. But the dealer only offered her a few $100s trade-in value for the little A5. So she called me up and very generously asked if I would want the car and fix it up myself. And I obviously said, heck yeah. Now for any of you guys that are gonna start a project like this at home, it's always good to have a budget in mind. And I know where this could go. This could go thousands of dollars, just like the dealer told my cousin it would be to put fuel injectors and carbon cleaning and all of that stuff in. So I knew I wasn't gonna go there. I'm gonna shoulder the burden of all of the labor myself. So I figured I would save. And I had socked away about 500 bucks to put some tires on my Range Rover. It desperately needs tires, but I thought, okay, let's start at about 500 bucks on this thing and see what kind of damage we can do with my labor and throwing the right amount of parts at this thing. So then it was time to take it apart, and I was trying to just go half Jason on it, where I don't go full mental and while I'm here type of stuff. And again, my budget limited me, but I thought I would clean and do this. And I learned right away what Audi considers service mode. This is service mode for Audi of this style. Yeah, you pull the whole bumper cover off, headlights out, and you slide the core support and everything forward a few inches. That's nuts, people. To do a serpentine belt or a water pump on this, that's the recommended service mode. So again, intimidated, frustrated. I was like, oh, am I sure I'm gonna like this thing? So once we got past that, got it done, pulled the intake manifold off, started cleaning, and it was the oil leaks. That was the other big thing. This sucker leaked so much oil. And again, it's an Audi thing. When I pulled the splash trays or the sound deadening trays off the bottom of the car, there's a diaper in there. Not only were they just saturated with oil because this car had been leaking for a while, the dealer had told my cousin that the timing chain covers both were leaking. So from my inspection, I found tons of leaks, not just the timing chain covers. Valve covers were leaking. A huge one was the oil filter housing seal was just gushing oil out the back of the engine. Another really interesting and big leak was the vacuum pump. And so when I pulled that off and rebuilt it and put it back together, I actually not only noticed that their brakes were better, so the vacuum was kind of suffering, but it was shooting oil over the hole over the front of the engine. So I dialed the leaks in. So I did go full Jason on finding all the leaks. I did the covers, I did all the seals I could find, rebuilding the vacuum pump, getting that seal dialed in. And then I did do some stuff. I did a coolant flush while I was there. I did a lot of little things like that. Which leads us to the most amazing part of this project. It turned into a sort of mechanical therapy session for me. I didn't shoot a typical how-to video of this one. That way, I could just crank some music in the garage and enjoy the wrenching and learning. And there was a lot of learning. The first lesson was that Audi parts get expensive fast, so I really had to get creative to stay even near my planned budget. This is the pile of gaskets that got replaced. Most of these were fairly inexpensive, but labor intensive to replace, and that's a win for this exercise. I had never cleaned intake valves on a direct injected engine before, so that was a very rewarding but time-consuming task. It only required the purchase of this $30 intake port vacuum hose adapter and this crank bolt adapter for about $15. Plus, I already had a cheapy Harbor Freight media blaster to do the actual cleaning. The aftershots of the minty fresh intake valves are definitely Jason approved. Next up, the costs jumped a bit, replacing a few broken items. The thermostat housing was cracked and starting to weep coolant, so an aftermarket unit got deployed there. And this coolant bypass tube broke when I simply looked at it wrong, so an inexpensive replacement was purchased for that position as well. Both parts set me back about $65 more. Then it was time to deal with what could be the make or break cost item for the whole project: fuel injectors. New aftermarket Hitachi units cost $160 each, so getting 6 replacements was simply not an option. So I grabbed my borescope and stuffed it into each cylinder to explore, doing my own version of forensic files looking for evidence of wrongdoing. Sure enough, I found 2 pistons with a puddle of fuel on top of them, and the other 4 to be okay. I also lucked out and had just earned enough points on my AutoZone account to score the injectors for only $130 each, so I ordered the 2. And to help out the injectors that were getting reinstalled, I bought this $7 cleaning kit off of Amazon that lets you jab them onto the top of a can of brake cleaner while manually activating them with a 12-volt battery. So just pulse it like that. It was kind of fun, and I did notice an improved spray pattern after several seconds of pulsing the injectors. So I crossed my fingers and hoped for the best while I resealed and reinstalled them. Now for the 2 most mind-expanding skills this project gave me that I'm thrilled to know for future wrenching sessions. First up, single ear hose clamps. I was mildly annoyed by these things during disassembly, since you have to cut them off. Seemed wasteful and inefficient. Then I learned how cheap they are to replace. This entire box full of clamps and the install tool was only $29. And that they're kind of fun to install. Just grab it right on the single ear there. Just squeeze it pretty tight. It just locks in right here, and that ain't going anywhere. And then to get it off, you just cut across the top. And it comes right back out. It feels pretty good to make the engine bay look factory fresh after a big service like this. It all matches. And I will use these on my other vehicles in the future. They're that good to work with. The next technique I probably would have never learned without committing to this Audi project is vacuum filling the cooling system. After looking up the tedious and messy procedure to manually bleed the air out of the coolant, I went to YouTube University and watched a few folks using this style of vacuum fill. And dang it, this thing is so easy. There are dozens of cheap kits out there, and you simply fit an adapter where the radiator cap would go. Get a good seal on the valve, and then hook an air hose to this end to draw vacuum on the system.
You can then check for leaks, and when you're good to go, stuff the fill tube in a bottle of coolant and just draw fresh juice into the entire system and fill any air pockets without running the vehicle for several minutes and burping it the old school way. I'll never do that again on any of my vehicles. I can't recommend this enough. It made this part of the job an absolute breeze. So, all in, I went over my initial budget and spent $636. That second fuel injector kinda got me. But that cost seemed fully justified because the car is in such incredibly good shape otherwise. The interior on this thing is in like new condition. The exterior is kind of great as well. Plus, looking under the valve covers revealed a remarkably clean valve train for 113,000 miles. This is what a top end of an engine looks like that's had an excellent oil change routine. My cousin really took amazing care of this little thing, and it's more than worth going a little extra at this point. And that's before even mentioning how much fun this A5 is to drive.
There's exactly the right amount of power to come through here and feel extremely sporty. Like, this is an absolute blast, and I don't feel like I'm terrorizing the local traffic or local residents. It's just fast enough to make you feel like you're doing something special. This car is absolutely about just carving turns. Yeah, this car is just an absolute blast. So this thing being all-wheel drive has a really unique handling characteristic to it. It doesn't reward the meathead style of heavy horsepower rear-wheel drive stuff I'm used to, or that I've kind of been preferred over the years. It just kind of rewards a chill, precise kind of driving. And that's really fun. Like, you could have so much more fun at just a chill speed. Like, I'm just doing about the speed limit here, but I'm holding that all the way through the turns. And that is proving to be an absolute riot. This car's all about finesse. It's a momentum car, and that is so different for me. It actually plows, and the steering is awful if you try to jam it into a corner and then throttle out. It just pushes like crazy, where you feed steering input into it and it goes straight. And I think that's just an Audi trait with the all-wheel drive vehicles like this. The engine is hung way out over the front axle, so there's a lot of weight up there. So this car wants you to chill out, carry some speed, do a little trail braking into the corner, which requires a little bit more skill, a little bit more finesse, rather than just heaving the car into the corner and then stabbing the throttle to try to rotate the rear around. This car won't do that. We don't have enough power, and with the all-wheel drive, it's not the makeup of it. What this car wants from you is to just carry a bunch of speed into the corner and then just keep the car neutral. So if you think of a car under braking, the weight is over the nose. Under acceleration, the weight is over the tail of the car. Neutral is where this car is happy, and that's just medium throttle or coasting. This car is an absolute weapon right there, and a little bit towards the trail braking, like braking into the corner. And then it's a weapon, like right now, tons of steering, just keeping even throttle through there. And as a driver, that's our job, to learn what's best for the car and then drive that. I get it why Audi people are such fanatics. This thing is an absolute blast. So having this vehicle kind of opens up the idea of maybe having a track car again. It's a wonderful commuter. It's comfortable. It has a ton of things I could do to it. I'm hoping for some reliability continued in the future here, but I'm already thrilled at what this car has taught me, how to open my mind up, see through some problems, learn about stuff. Oh man, how could you not like a vehicle that does this? I mean, come on. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm very thankful and grateful. My cousin T, this is amazing. What a gift. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy your drive.